evening, everybody. I'm Pixie from Planet Pixie. I plan weddings and events with a difference. Thank you for joining us this evening. If you are watching along live, please do comment. Let us know you're there. Say hello. If you're watching a replay, #replay. Feel free to give us a share out. If you've watched us before, you may recognise my guest this evening. Berni has come back. So it's going to be a little bit different this evening. Rather than talking about mostly what Berni does as business, it's going to be more of a catch up and finding out a little bit more about what she's been up to, and all about her new group. Good evening.
Yay! Hello. Thank you for having me back. It couldn't have been that bad.
Public apology for keep putting an E on the end of your name and almost.
You know, I hadn't even noticed until you apologised for it.
I don't know why. I tagged you in something yesterday.
Yeah.
And as I hit back, I was like, to delete your surname. I was like, oh, the E's gone. And then I tried to put it back and I was like, there is
No, never been one, no. How funny though that I didn't notice. Although I've been called worse. I mean, sometimes I've been referred to, not very often recently actually, but I used to get referred to or get mail through quite often that was addressed to Bernard.
Do you know, so my granddad's completely off topic already, but my granddad's name was legitimately Beverly Brian James Knowles, and my nan's name was Brenda Knowles. So quite often posts would come through under Miss or Mrs. B Knowles. My nan would open it, and actually it was meant for my granddad. They just assumed that
because Beverly is
I get it all the time. Oh, here was some of the feedback there. Right, sorry, I'm just going to share us out to my main page. So, tell us, what have you been up to? Tell us about your new group.
Gosh! Well, when we first met, which was through one of these challenges, wasn't it? It was the Bee Herd with Danny Wallace. Yeah, which was amazing, and I'm still referring back to my notes all the time and thinking I really need to follow up that bit that I said I was going to do, because there's so much content that I haven't done everything yet. But we met through that, didn't we? And then we were challenged to start doing live interviews, and you interviewed me live, and that was your first interview back in October. And we've both been doing lots of live stuff since. And I've been growing my Celebrant business and been finally doing a few, officiating at a few funerals and being booked for a few alternative weddings that I'm really excited about, and chatting with couples about their weddings and making plans with them. So that has been really great. But what I've also done, because we're still in lockdown, I don't know how much. I mean, you're probably, I mean, I know there's lots of different areas in England, but the whole of Wales is in a tier 4 lockdown, so we still can't really do anything. But what we can do is do more workshops. So I've done lots more workshops and challenges on Facebook. I'm like overwhelmed with the amount of things I've got on my to-do list. But I've also set up a group on Facebook. It's a private group it's called Extraordinary People with Alternative Ideas for Celebrating. And basically it's there to create a safe space, a private space for people who either are from the industry who want to swap ideas and plans. But initially I set it up thinking, wouldn't it be nice if people who have either had an alternative celebration and enjoyed it so much they want to share what they did and their ideas and how it worked and talk about it again and reflect on it, they could all meet there. And people who were about to plan or in the process of planning their own alternative celebration or memorial or commemoration or whatever it is could come there and talk to people about their ideas without them saying, oh, you can't do that, that's not the norm. You have to do it this way, you have to do it that way, and get confirmation and affirmation and enthusiasm for their quirky ideas, and hopefully meet people who have perhaps done something similar, so they can say, oh yeah, we did that and we did it like this and it worked. Or meet somebody like yourself who can help facilitate making it a reality, or someone like me who could officiate at the event for them, and again help make it make the right words, or give them some further links. So it's really just a place where people can link up, meet up, discuss their quirky ideas, share their successes and failures, develop those ideas, take them to the next level, if you like, of quirky or weird, and then roll with it, because they'll be given the confidence with everyone telling them that what a great idea it is, rather than, oh no, when you have a wedding, you've got to do this, then this, then this, and this.
I find a lot of wedding groups that are for people planning their own weddings, they are quite doom and gloomy. Like, I'm quite surprised by, well, not necessarily the issues people have, but how much there are issues, and how, I don't want to say daft, but how daft a lot of the issues are. I think people are worrying about conforming to the point where, I mean, I saw a question earlier today, which was, where can my mother-in-law get ready on the wedding day? Because my mom gets married with me, I don't want her to feel left out. Right, why is that a question? If you want her to get married with you, she gets ready with you. Why? Yeah, that's a nonsense question. But there was, a lot of people actually responded to it. So I was like,
this whole conforming, this is the structure. It's an insane situation people find themselves in. The amount of people who get married in a way that they are expected to get married, or that, I blame social media a lot, but I blame, movies and what have you, that these weddings, these huge, magnificent, extravagant weddings that are portrayed in movies that have no stress. They can sort of magically come. They kind of magically come together with 2,000 guests and the banquet of a lifetime, and arches of flowers, and famous singers on a stage that's underlit by and doves whatever, and fireworks, and life isn't like that. And weddings themselves are not for that, largely. I mean, lovely if you're loaded with money and you want to, or if you just you are in a fortunate position and that's really what you want to do, surround yourself with every member of your extended family and every member of your extended family's friends and all of those things, which is
anybody you've ever met.
Look, mostly people you've never met, because usually they're friends of your, traditionally your parents paid for your wedding and they invited the people that they wanted to invite to your wedding, and you came along, and did the job, but it was their celebration rather than your celebration. And what we've done now is we've transferred that. We've made it the individual celebration, but they still feel tied to that commitment of involving everybody and conforming to every tradition. You say the bride's mum gets married, doesn't get married. That would be weird.
Although that's another conundrum I seen
That's
another conundrum I seen in a group yesterday.
What's that?
Honestly, there was another conundrum I seen in a group yesterday. It was my mum's decided she's getting married. She's moved her wedding to before mine. She's using my venue and my colours. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness. That's just mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hearing me. And I think,
But another reason to have a proper unique celebration, something that's truly you, and not just a colour and a venue, and therefore chances are statistically somebody else is going to have those same colours at that same venue at some point.
And I think that this is need to conform and spend this enormous budget on one day and focus on that day as the be all and end all, the culmination of a relationship, rather than a moment in time that is supposed to commemorate the beginning of a chapter of a relationship, not kind of the culmination. And I think we make the wedding the culmination of something, and it should be the beginning.
Don't get me wrong. As a planner, if somebody wants to throw thousands and thousands of pounds at it, amazing.
You'll help spend it.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Long as, for me, as long as that represents who you are and not just your bank balance or your now lack of bank balance, probably.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, throwing lots of money at something doesn't make it heartfelt and honest and unique and special. It makes it expensive.
Yeah.
If that expense also makes it intimate and heartfelt and sincere and reflective of the true yous, then fabulous. If that's what you want to do, I'm not against that at all. And what I found with is one of the positives of this whole 12 months horrendous 12 months we've just had and lockdown is the way that we've started to rethink what these celebrations are about. And a lot of people are realizing that getting married is about basically celebrating the love you have for the person that you have chosen to commit to and making a declaration of that with them in front of perhaps a select few of people, but basically for the two of you to start the next chapter of your journey. And a lot of people come to me and they go, with this COVID, I'm using it as an excuse to really pare down my wedding because we were.
Why should you have an excuse?
Well, that's right.
That's the thing.
Well, first of all, it got to you might have been having 100 people at your wedding because you felt that if you invited Aunt Molly, then you had to invite great aunt, and it roller coasters, doesn't it? Sorry, I'm waving my arms.
Yeah, it can snowball quite bad.
Yeah, it snowballs quite really. And so when they said you can only have a maximum of 30, which was the sort of lockdown rule before last, people were in that conundrum of like, who do we throw out and just to let's leave 30, and what and who's not going to be offended if we've invited them and we haven't invited them, we've kept them in that 30. So they've gone, right, okay, we're going to have us and our 4 witnesses. That's it. We'll put it on a live stream perhaps, or we'll record it, but we won't invite anybody, and that way we're not offending anyone and we're saving all of this money, which means we can buy a house, and we are doing what really
we're
matters.
Not married.
Yeah. Well, I'm not married, so
yes. Well, the house has got to come first because Mr. Sensible Pants is absolutely sensible.
Yeah, I'm not married. 26 years of happily unmarried bliss. We had a celebration last year of that. It was called that. We had a big celebration, 25 years of happily unmarried bliss. And it was fabulous. But, a lot of people are using it, and they are realizing that they are paring it down to what is really, truly important. And they are not nearly as stressed as they were before. So it's become quite a really good way.
The stress is trying to conform to everything and try and make sure everything's perfect. And if you were trying to match the sash on your chair that you were hiring from a company to a ribbon on an invite that's come from a completely different company, and you're bothered that it's 3 shades different, you're gonna get stressed.
Of course you are. And I mean, my market is not that market, but I'm happy. If people want that, then that's fine. I mean, my mantra is that I deal with intimate, alternative, heartfelt celebrations of love and unity, and I am very much a firm believer that every chapter of your life, you get to a point where you change in your chapter, whatever that is, you reach a crossroads in your life, and you can go that way or that way. And when you get to that point, you need to put a marker in the road so you know that you've been there, kind of like, this is where I've been, this is where I'm going, and I'm heading this way next, and I want to make a celebration of that moment in time. And that could be everything. So if you have lots of small meaningful celebrations through your life, you can have like 20, you could have 20, couldn't you? So you can have one.
Yes. Many parties.
Just do many great things at every landmark moment in your life and celebrate. Everybody is extraordinary. We're all unique, we're all extraordinary, we all have our own story to tell, and we all have our own moments, chapter changes in our life where we want to take a moment, take stock, celebrate what we've just achieved, and recognize that we're heading into a next phase. So that could be a vow renewal, or a wedding, or a unity ceremony, or an anniversary, or a naming, or or anything really. It could be recovering from a having been fearful of a potentially terminal illness, and you've recovered and you want to landmark that. You could have got divorced or come out of an unhappy relationship and want to celebrate your freedom. There are lots of reasons to have a celebrant-led celebration or an event that is as meaningful as a wedding.
But again, this is the understanding of what getting married is historically and traditionally, and working out how we can see it differently, and therefore how we can do it differently, and apply that positively, not as one of the most stressful things you can ever do, but positively to other parts of your life, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the nice thing about the industry that we're both in, with wedding planning, alternative wedding planning, is we really, as partners, we're kind of part of we're more than just booking the venue and checking that the colour's right. We kind of I keep having this conversation with different people, but essentially we're just really nosy people who really love to engage in other people's stories. So when you engage with, like, when someone books you or books me or books somebody from our alternative industry, their face and their personality has to fit. So we're not kind of offended. So they will pick me or you because of our style.
Understanding as well, isn't it, of what that person wants and likes and why, and how that feeds into other things. Because anybody can just grab a skull and shove it on a table. But unless you're appreciating what they're trying to achieve and that look, it's different. And especially if you're trying to do like a subtle theme. It's understanding
it's the essence, it's where it came from. And taking those little elements and sneakily putting them into other things. And if you don't appreciate it, then you're not going to get the same chemistry between you and your client, are you? It's the difference between having a Harry Potter party and a Harry Potter inspired party.
Yes.
So it's like, do you want to recreate Harry Potter, or do you just want influences of that magical little elements? And so so it's kind of like looking at that. But there's what I'm hoping to get from setting up the group, which I'll just say again, it's extraordinary people who looking. Oh, I forgot what it's called now.
Shall I try and get a link?
No, I know what it's called. Extraordinary people. With unique ideas for celebrations is what it's called, but I think you find it by looking up alternative celebrations. But it's a private group, but it's really for like-minded people. So you're obviously in there, because I probably told you had to be. but there's lots of what's nice about it now, it's fairly new because I only set it up in the middle of January, but there's about 160 170 of us in there now at the moment, and probably about 50% are industry related, so people who do planning or photography or poetry or whatever, who have a service to offer, and half the people are people who have had a celebration, who are interested in potentially at some point in the future having some form of celebration, and just have like really interesting ideas and want to pick people's brains. So it's a good balance of people and ideas, and I hope it will grow, and I hope it'll be useful to people, because it's just there for fun.
I think it will.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. It will be, if it's wanted, then that's great, because I do it for fun.
Yeah, no, I think it will. So, slightly off topic to that, did you mention glamping pods earlier?
I did mention glamping. In fact, I was talking to someone over on that group earlier today, a lady called Diana Liversidge, who lives fairly near to me, and she has the most fantastic glamping venue of her own in the middle of her garden, which is 3 acres of woodland, and she has this amazing glamping. And then it's very, very nice, I tell you. And if you want to know if anyone who's listening wants to know what it is, if they pop over there, it's there, and we tell you all about it. But I am in the process of creating my own glamping pod, just the one in my garden, from a 1972 eldest two-berth caravan. So I've got this little caravan in my garden that I bought ages and ages ago with a view to having it as an art studio, a little art place that I could go and hide out in the garden. And it just ended up being full of junk, as sheds and spare vehicles do. And then when all of this COVID-y stuff happened, and I became, also training to be a celebrant and becoming a celebrant at the beginning of last year, I thought, wouldn't it be nice, because I want to do small intimate things like, elopements and micro weddings, are really my strength, I would say, is if I use the venue I have with my B&B and my garden as a venue for micro weddings. So in my garden, which is it's only like 3/4 of an acre garden, but it's got at one corner it's got these little copse of trees that are in a circle, and in the middle there's like a fire pit, so it's like a natural chimney. And we had one of the trees that sort of edges onto the garden. We had to have, that was diseased, so we had to have it cut down. But I've had it cut down at 20 foot, with a view to it being the centre pole of a bespoke made teepee, which will be where I can officiate vow renewals, micro weddings, that type of thing inside this teepee. And I have this amazing friend who has a business, a sale making business, a Sales of Merit. Her name is Sarah, and I mocked up out of bits of paper and blue tack and stained glass pins and things like that what I wanted. And I said, look, is it possible for you to make me something like this? Bear in mind, this is the pole and this is how wide it can be, and I've done this, and it has to, did all the maths with my old O-level maths from 30-40 years ago. And she said, yeah, we can do that. So she's in the process of making this bespoke teepee tent for my vow renewals, and my husband, my partner, is in the process of sorting out the interior of this caravan, and it's going to be a garden bedroom boudoir. It's going to be so
sounds amazing,
plush, and it's going to look.
I really want a caravan, but I've got nowhere to put one.
No, you have to just come and stay in mine for a bit.
Yeah. To be honest, I would say 75% of it is just I want the project of doing one up.
Yeah, I mean, it's so fun doing it up, because I'm incorporating things like, stained glass mosaics. I do stained glass anyway, so I'm doing all my splashbacks and all the bit where there's going to be a massive bed that takes up 3/4 of the space. So you climb in, all that end of the caravan is the bed, with a little drop down table and the cupboards full of games and drawing things and just things like that. And then at the other end there's a little micro wood burner, so a little log fire, and a champagne fridge and a kettle and a little sink, and that's all there is. And it will need, yeah. And then the couple will have that as will be able to have that for a couple of nights. And alongside that, because it hasn't got a kitchen and it hasn't got a bathroom, we have a self-contained annex in our garden, which we usually let out as a B&B for families, but it has a couple of bedrooms and it has a kitchen and a bathroom and a sitting room. So we're in Wales. Sometimes it rains in Wales. Occasionally it has been
just occasionally.
So they will have the glamping pod, and they will also have access to this, and that so their few guests can be in there. That can have 5 people in there, and if they've got kids or youngsters or anybody who likes camping, there's room in the garden to put up 3 or 4 tents, so they can have this little micro wedding in the grounds of my garden, with me doing the service for them and them having a couple of nights in my my hutch garden boudoir. And I think it will be really fun. I'd hope to have it a bit further on than I have now. I've painted the outside of it in various shades of pink. There's lots of dancing chickens on the outside, because we have chickens that wander around in the garden. So I had them all in tutus dancing. Well, what?
That is the most you-sounding thing I think I've ever heard.
So it's going to be good. So there'll be packages. So I'll be doing some micro wedding and elopement packages and vow renewal packages, which people can, if they're interested, they can have a look on the Alternative Celebrant if they look that up, they'll find the website, and there's some details and some progress reports and little videos of me trying to show you what's going on in the church as we try and do it. We had a step back actually this week because my husband was putting in these little spotlights for reading lights at the end of the sides of where the bed frame is he's built, and he went like that and the windows smashed. But I have to say, because it's a 1970s caravan, it had, and we hadn't even thought about it, had thin glass, which was like a greenhouse glass, which is not safety glass and probably not appropriate anymore. So we are replacing it with something much more appropriate and much safer.
Yeah, better you than a guest, I guess.
Oh God, wouldn't it have been awful if the first people in there having a bit of rumpy pumpy had banged them?
Yes, well, when the caravan's rocking.
Yeah.
So have you got anything else planned, or not that it sounds like you've got time for anything else?
I haven't got much time at the moment, so trying to grow and engage people who are interested into the group. Started planning a few weddings on behalf of people, but they're sort of in the distant future because of no one wants to take a risk too near to now, and just really trying to talk to as many people like you are with your weekly interviews, trying to engage with as many people and ideas as I can and get them out there. So people, when I say people, I don't mean these, I mean individuals who want to celebrate, get to know that we're all out here available for them, and that it's kind of an affordable option. It really is. You would be surprised how cheap. Good value, don't say cheap. What great value you get. What great value you get from a celebrant or wedding, because you have us from the day you decide to book us right till even after your wedding to help with everything along the step of the way, and it's less than the flowers probably. I imagine. I've never done wedding flowers, but I imagine it's certainly less than the cakes that I've seen on the online wedding cakes. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, do you know, I've got some cookie. I made a cookie pie. I don't know if you saw it.
Is this the one with the Kinder?
Oh,
chocolate?
You did see it because I sent you the recipe.
Oh my God, I made you send me the recipe.
Oh, so I didn't it was like a watch along video. This is completely off topic. It was a watch along video. So when everybody was like, "Oh, send me the recipe," I was like, "I don't actually have one." I kind of watched a video and then ignored it and made it up. And so I had to type out this whole recipe, but there's a slice of it in the kitchen because I froze some.
Just waiting for you. Oh my God!
I'm just like, I just remembered it's there.
I tell you what's going to happen is if anyone watches our conversation, which hopefully they will on replay and what have you, the only questions we'll have are, can I have the recipe for that Kinder cookie cake? No one will give a damn about weddings or anything.
Nobody cares. Everybody just do you know, I had to drive around. You might have seen me post if anybody wants to speak up now, because I had loads of flour that needed using. So I made some lemon drizzle and I made this cake, and I kept looking at it all like, I'm going to eat all this. So I literally had to split it up, and I had to drive around people I know in the local area and
just
do
leave parcels on the doorstep.
Leaving parcels of cake and being like, there's cake on your drive.
Oh, that's really nice. I wish I lived closer. Oh my God. I did that.
I would have just eaten it otherwise.
But I've been doing that actually because again, off topic, I am nanny daycare for my 3-year-old grandson at the moment. So he's been here 6 weeks. So we often spend some time in the kitchen making cakes and cookies and what have you. And, and really, I don't want him eating them because it's hyperactive enough as it is without eating cake and cookies. And I would eat them quite happily, but I really mustn't because I don't do enough to warrant eating all those extra calories. So we did quite a lot of cooking before Valentine's. So I would box them up, these cookies, little strawberry cookies, into little boxes of 6 and start delivering them round to the neighbours.
Do you know, it's things he'll remember. So I've started, again, completely off topic and completely irrelevant to what we're supposed to be talking about here, but we're good at that. So I've started a new Instagram page that is going to be purely stuff that I've baked, because
I often saw that you were going to do that, and I really must.
I set it up because Well, I went for something completely unrelated to baking, to be honest. But I've set it up because I kept seeing posts where people were like, "Oh, here's something I've baked. Let's see your favourite bakes." And then I'd spend hours just trawling through my phone, finding random pictures, and I'd think, "Oh, just one more," and then I'd keep scrolling. So I decided to put them all together. And one of the first things I posted was a picture of me at about his age, in my nan's kitchen, wearing what looks like a floor length. It's obviously an adult apron. Because I remember I used to love baking with my nan when I was his age.
It's so fun, and if you I recommend everyone does it with their kids because it just is fun. And flour wash cleans up really easily, and even
I've got a wicked picture of my niece where I made scones with her.
Yeah.
And it's just this picture of her with like all this scone batter like between her hands, and she's like pulling her hands apart. And I look horrendous in the picture, but she looks adorable but so messy.
We were making pizza-based dough. Pizza bases the other week because we decided we were having a pizza night. So I made my own dough because I thought he'll have real fun because it's so sticky and gooey, isn't it? So we did that. But he mostly he's just eating them going, lovely. So you can't most things you can't share with anyone else because he's usually licked it. But nice. All the things we never thought about 6-12 months ago, blowing raspberries, licking the spoon when you're making cakes, all of those things and now to
be fair, because I do bake a lot for like friends and family and stuff, I am conscious of stuff like that.
I am. I'm talking about a 3-year-old. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, with a child. I sometimes I do cook for nut allergy. Sufferers, is that the term? I don't know. So I am quite. But it does mean when I'm baking with the little ones, I have to kind of like.
I know.
Okay.
You have to take a deep and go.
Share this.
I go. Don't lick now. No, you can't lick the spoon yet. No, licking the spoon yet. No, licking the spoon.
But the best. I'm really pernickety with it, so I'm like staring it in the wrong direction.
The best pictures I've got, because I sit him down with the bowl at the end. He'll sit on a little stool on the floor. The bowl will be on the floor, and his hands will be in there with the cake mix. Just
as they do.
That's what I remember from being a kid, is being able to lick out the cake mix bowl when you're finished.
Yeah. I agree. It's all about making memories. That's how we're going to say this is on topic. It's all about making memories.
It is about making memories. Absolutely. And it's these things are the things you will remember, and they should be about you. It's going back, your story. It's your story. It's about you. You do what you want. Be it a wedding, a vow renewal, or a living wake, or a remembrance, or anything. It is about the people that are arranging it and why they are doing it. You're doing it to celebrate.
They're the things that make it a memory as well. Like if you I went to a wedding when I was little. My mom's cousin, and I specifically remember the wedding cake, not just because it was a cool, impressive cake, but because of the story behind it.
Right.
Now, I was probably 4 or 5, a complete guess.
It's a real early memory then.
Yeah, but I remember the cake. I even remember where it was in the room.
Yeah.
Because it was the Eiffel Tower. So 1, it looked impressive, but 2, because he surprised her with a weekend to Paris and proposed at the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
he had the cake replicated for their wedding. So
that's really lovely.
That is where the making the memories. People are going to look back and think, oh yeah, that was a big wedding. Bet that cost a fortune.
Yeah,
or that was.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the weddings I have been to in my past, when I was younger, were the bride and groom would say they were so busy making sure everything was perfect and making sure everyone was happy that they don't remember the day much themselves. Yeah, and it's kind of like you think you've spent all of that money and time and energy and stress and worry and everything to get something perfect for everyone else.
it's thinking outside the box. Like, as a planner, that's a service that can be provided. You tell me what is important, what you envisage your day looking like, what the plan is, what the run is, where things should be, where people need to be when they need to be there, and then you have the planner there to do the things
to make that happen.
Yeah, to make it happen, to manage the day, so that actually you're experiencing it with your guests. Because I mean, I know I'm terrible when I have a party. I spend probably longer than your average person planning, just a birthday party. And then I spend that time cooking a bit more and making sure everybody's got a drink, and and then it's halfway through the night before I sit down and think, actually, I'm going to enjoy my own birthday party now.
I usually do that, although one party I had, confessions of a party planner. One party I organised, and it was an amazing
maybe that's
party.
Another live I do, confession time.
No, I'm going to just tell you, get it over with.
I'm all for that.
Because no one will listen this far into so no one else will know. Is that I organised a party in the summer in the garden, and we staged the whole thing, and all of the guests who were coming, it was fancy dress, and it was all staged and themed, and so everyone was involved and engaged all along, and they were all sharing our own makes for our own costumes and what have you. And then on the night, I happened to be on some medication. You know how medication always says, do not drink when taking this medication. We all think, oh yeah, right, I'll just have a couple, be fine. Well, this one should have said, no, we really mean it this time. I by 9:30, apparently one of my guests had to fireman lift carry me to my bedroom, and I missed it. I could not stand or speak.
Oh no.
It was a great party, apparently.
To be fair, fireman's lift up the stairs to bed usually is a good time of a good party.
Yeah. But he left me on my own, so it's like,
oh dear. To be fair, like, again, off topic, I read the so I take a medication, and every so often I'll pull out the leaflet, and I'll just recheck I just occasionally recheck the side effects and stuff like that, just in case any new ones pop up, or I didn't read it properly the last time or whatever. And last time I read it says a side effect is shopping, so I'm taking that. That is my excuse.
Shopping?
It was part of
compulsive.
It was technically a part of a list of compulsive behaviour, but the word shopping was there in black and white. I'm taking
that was enough for you,
taking it.
I'm going to
check that, or I got it off my mom.
I'm going to check all mine now. I'm going to type it in.
I would just. Is it a side effect or is it an excuse? Either or. I'm for it.
I love that, Pixie. I really love that when I talk to you, we end up talking about something completely.
Yes, absolutely nonsense. But on that note,
yes,
I will pop you backstage, and then we will have that conversation we were going to start before we came live.
Yeah.
That nobody else gets to find out about until we've done it.
Yeah, excellent. Watch this space.
Thank you for joining, everybody. Like I say, if you've watched on the replay, #replay, feel free to drop us any comments, any questions. We'd both really appreciate any shares on our videos. It's a great way to support small businesses. Join me at the same time next week when I will be speaking to Alison Jenner from Alison Jenner Hair about bridal hair.